it's crazy to think that it's been over 2 years, nearly 2 years and 3 months now, I think, that we played the Doom beta. I think, if I remember, it came out about a month-ish before the actual game, maybe even sooner. But when I started playing it, it was about a month before the actual game come out. And honestly, I was hooked on the game right from the start, even though it was my least favourite part about Doom, the deathmatch and the multiplayer. I was hooked on it. A lot of people went on to dislike and not approve of the multiplayer, and it started a whole controversy of not only the multiplayer itself, but if the whole of Doom 2016 was going to be successful. And that is what started the whole Steam issue, if you remember that, how there was a more dislikes than likes on the multiplayer beta by quite a margin as well. There was quite a few people that defended it as well, which was nice to see. There wasn't a crazy amount, but there were still nice people saying that actually it wasn't that bad. I think what people were expecting a bit more of a classic feel, but of course it had a bit more of a modern twist to it as well, with its loadout system, and as we soon found out, it's sort of experience building as well. I don't mind that. I've said before, and I always will stick to this, that multiplayer is definitely the weakest part for me of Doom 2016. We got the campaign, and then we of course have Snap Map, and in a fair way down we have multiplayer. But my views have changed quite a lot on multiplayer recently. It's nowhere near as bad as people made it out to be. And of course, since free update 6.66, that changed my views of multiplayer completely, and I actually started getting into it again with all these new enemies you can play. It's actually quite addicting game modes. Even Domination and Warpath literally are my favourite multiplayer modes I played in a long while. I can't get enough of playing their modes. Infernal Run is really cool as well. It was definitely not as bad as people made it out to be. But of course you can see why people didn't like it. People were hoping to see a bit more of a classic approach. But because it had the modern twist, it didn't necessarily mean it was bad. It obviously wasn't as good. Talking back about the Doom beta, I remember literally I was not the best. I definitely wasn't the worst, but I was nowhere near the best. And that's when we got to try out, I think it must have been about two exclusive weapons that we've never seen before. One springs to mind, which was the hardest one to unlock, the lightning gun. At the point, it was so interesting and so actually exciting to play that gun, because I've never used that gun before. I didn't know how it was going to work, and it was the top gun to unlock, so I had high hopes for it. And actually, when I first used it, I still had high hopes for it, because I did enjoy using it. It was a bit hard to get used to, but over time I kind of lost all hope for that gun. I can't stand using it in Snap Map. It's okay sometimes to use in multiplayer, but it's far from being my top choice. There was another gun as well, which I really cannot remember what it was. I think it was the Vortex rifle. I'm not too sure. And of course, there was only one demon we could play as back then, which was the Revenant, which led to a load of false hope there was going to be really fun in the campaign. Nowhere near bad, just overwhelmingly easy. I was so shocked. Even on Nightmare, when I played through the difficulty, they were so unbelievably powerless that they just felt out of place, especially when Imp, it's got like a 100% more chance of killing you compared to an actual Revenant. So it was kind of weird. They was over the top powerful in that, and they still are. I still use them from time to time. I really do enjoy playing as a Revenant in multiplayer. Recently I've been getting into a couple of other monsters as well, which is actually one that I didn't like at first, which is the Spectre. Spectres are really cool because you can either go slow if you want and attack like an enemy at a time with his sort of glory kill eating effect, or you can do what Spectre does in Doom 1 and 2 and of course 2016, where they charge for the player. That's the better option, because that way you're going to be quicker. It's a bit harder to control, but you're going to be quicker and you can take down 3, 4, 5 or even all 6 players at once if you're lucky. So yeah, I don't know if they're my favourite, because I think Mancubus still takes that spot. I just love playing with Mancubus. He seems so powerful. He has so much health and he insta-kills all the time. I don't like the Cackle Demon. I think, yeah, they're good, but they're just a bit slow. I mean, they get like kills every now and then, and they're very easy to glory kill. So they're definitely not my favourite in terms of being a demon, but they're definitely one of my favourites to fight against. So bringing back to the Doom beta once again, things have changed a lot since then. There was only two game modes, which was Team Deathmatch and Warpath. Warpath was my favourite, it still is to this day. That and Domination are just so fun. I just love playing like that. Team Deathmatch is always Team Deathmatch. It's exactly the same in pretty much any game you play. It had a couple of twists along the way, of course, such as the weapon spawnage, like the Gauss cannon and the chainsaw, and of course the demon runes. But apart from that, it really was the same, just with the odd Doom twist here and there. It still made it enjoyable. It's just that Team Deathmatch feels like sort of one of the least inspired ones, but it's cool just if you want to have a casual game, I guess. So does multiplayer actually still hold up in any way today? Because if it had all these problems back in the beta stage, is there any chance of it still being enjoyable to play today? A while ago, I had nowhere near as many games to play as I do now. There was hardly anyone. I mean, it was like a barren wasteland, and you were just lucky to find at least three or four people waiting. I swear, my times have not changed where I'm looking for games. Yet I still seem to be finding so many more games, which is kind of weird, because I said none of the times where days are changing, but yet there seems to be a lot more people playing it now, and I'm finding full matches all the time. You get the occasional day where there's one or two people, but then it's really good because other days literally the games are ram packed and there's always going to be a full match, and that's the kind of games I love because then it adds to the much better experience. So people are still playing it, so people are still enjoying this game. I'm finally getting back into it. I can't play it for a long time because it kind of gets boring for me, but if I give it a few plays, then it remains enjoyable. So yeah, I still think in a weird way the game does hold up. Obviously it's not perfect, it never has been, but still, if you enjoy it, you still can enjoy it, I guess, to this point. For me, like I said, I like giving gaps here and there so that way when I come back it's all nice and fresh again, and that's how I enjoy it. Apart from that, if I played it all the time, I think it kind of lost its way by now. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's good, or do you think it's past this point? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.